Hello everyone, it's me again, Thuan, and I'm so happy to be back with you all. In the last episode, I mentioned going to Saigon, and some of you sent me good wishes for a safe and new journey. I'm truly grateful for all your kind words. Some of you also asked if I'm moving to Saigon permanently. No, not yet. I still have another year of studies left, so after summer, I'll be back in Hanoi. As for what comes after that, I really don't know. Before we dive into the podcast, I have two small disclaimers. First, I think this episode might be a bit emotional and sad, so if you're not in the mood for anything too heavy, you might want to skip this one. Second, I've been really congested lately, so if you hear me sounding like I'm crying at certain points, please know it's just my stuffy nose, not actual tears. My trip to Saigon this time actually had a second purpose, besides meeting new people, experiencing new things, and broadening my world a bit, as I mentioned in the previous podcast. I often joked with everyone that I was going there to rescue our friendship. I have two best friends from high school, we were a trio. From this point on, I've changed all the characters' names in the story. I won't use their real names, I've given them pseudonyms because I don't want to reveal their identities here. Back in high school, my two close friends were named Chloe and Ben. After graduating, we all went our separate ways, and our connection became sporadic. We'd only see each other once or twice a year when we returned to our hometown. Even then, we couldn't spend much time together because our houses in the countryside were quite far apart, like 60 or 70 kilometers. In high school, the way we maintained our friendship was always through deep, serious conversations. We weren't the type to just sit around gossiping or chatting idly about trivial things. We'd have profound discussions. Sometimes, we'd have sleepovers and talk all night about existential issues. These were the kinds of conversations that would leave you feeling completely drained, as if all your energy had been sucked out. All three of us are also super low-key. We never update our lives on social media. So, we really had no idea what kind of lives our friends were leading or exactly what they were doing. We almost felt disconnected from each other. Plus, each of us is currently facing difficulties in our own lives, which made us feel like we really needed each other right now. When we were younger, trying to navigate adulthood, we'd tackle these existential problems together. So, we thought, now more than ever, we need each other to save this friendship. Chloe and Ben both live in Saigon, but quite far from each other. When I arrived, all three of us tried our best to arrange continuous meetings because we all wanted to save this friendship. Everyone made an effort. But we had two main issues. First, we felt a bit disconnected, and second, it had been several years since high school, and our communication was still sporadic, only once or twice a year. We've all changed so much since high school, yet I still tended to interact with my friends in the same way we did back then. These things often led to conflicts and arguments among us. We even had a term for it, 2 out of 3 fight. Whenever any two of us met, we'd inevitably argue, and the third person always had to mediate. Throughout the 2 weeks I was in Saigon, it was almost like that every single day we'd argue, and someone would step in to make peace. I think this is a common problem in all friendships. Old friends don't know what our new lives are like or what we currently care about, while new friends don't know what we've been through or why we are the way we are today. So, we kept going in circles, losing time trying to re-understand each other. There were times I was so exhausted I thought, okay, I'm just going to give up. I won't try to salvage this friendship anymore. These two are still friends I cherish deeply, and because I love and care for them, I'd still make time to see them once or twice a year. But I wouldn't try to reconnect or actively participate in their lives anymore. There were moments when I truly wanted to give up like that. But whenever I expressed those thoughts, my friends would tell me, no, if you start something, you have to see it through. You can't just quit halfway. So, we decided we needed to have a serious talk. We got some cake, made tea, and put on some music to make it easier for all three of us to open up. You know how it is, right? When someone is struggling, they don't really want others pointing out their problems, even if they know it's coming from a good place. It's not easy for anyone to accept those kinds of difficult truths. When we sat down to talk, we discussed what we saw in each other and the issues in our relationship. I'm generally very soft-spoken and afraid of saying things that might hurt my friends. But I knew that if there's a problem in a friendship and you don't talk about it and try to resolve it, it might lead to arguments when you finally do. But if you don't, I believe the distance will only grow larger, making it hard to maintain the same level of closeness as before. So, in the end, If there's a problem, you still have to talk about it. I shared what I observed in our friendship, but I also sensed Ben's instability. I could tell Ben was going through a difficult time in life, so I brought that up too. All three of us genuinely hoped that if a friend had a problem, they would voice it so we could help if possible. The day before my friend arranged this conversation, I privately told Chloe that my biggest fear was talking about the issues I saw in Ben, only for him to acknowledge them, but be unable to do anything because what he was doing was already the best he could manage. I was so afraid of that. And when Ben finally shared what he had been through, it was exactly my worst fear realized. The things he was doing were indeed the best he could do. Listening to him, I couldn't hold back anymore. I couldn't stop my tears from falling. My heart ached for my friend so much. He was once someone with so many beautiful qualities, who lived such an interesting life. Anyone who was a mutual friend of Ben and me would always say, "How do you have such an interesting friend like Ben? How did you become friends with someone so fascinating?" He used to shine. He was so interesting, full of dreams, aspirations, and so much excitement for the future and for life. He had so many beautiful things about him. My heart was utterly broken because I couldn't understand what life had done to him, how it had worn away those wonderful qualities. That was when I truly understood the saying, "Your 20s are the boulevard of broken dreams." Listening to my friend, all I felt was shattered. I couldn't understand why life could be so difficult at times, how it could wear down such a vibrant soul. My heart ached, and I felt such pity for my friend. Exactly, my feeling was one of powerlessness. There are times in life when I sit back and remember things I did in the past, and I feel regret and pain. But I know for sure that if I could go back to that moment, I would still only be able to choose to do those same things, because at that time, those were the best I could do. No matter how much I regret it, I know if I could go back, I'd still have to make that choice. Actually, he's not living a terrible life now, but he deserves better than this, because he was someone who tried so hard, put in so much effort, and had so many dreams and aspirations. After that, Chloe and I told him some things, like the beautiful qualities of his that we really missed, and what we admired about him. And this isn't a book or a movie where the main character, after one meeting, one conversation, can change 180 degrees, become sparkling and brilliant again, and have a happy ending. This conversation didn't yield immediate results like that, but I think we lit a few stars of hope, and we hope Ben won't succumb to life's challenges. As I'm telling this story, it suddenly occurs to me that not everyone has friends to remind them of their good qualities. So, I want to send a message to all of you listening to this podcast. No matter how difficult life gets, I hope you won't give up and will continue to try. It's not that I think you're not trying hard enough. I know you've tried immensely. But I believe you deserve better things. Don't give up, don't fall before life's challenges. I hope that no matter what, you won't choose to surrender. Everyone has their own storm to weather, and I hope you all can wait for the sunny days. The other day, I was talking to another friend of mine named Sarah. Sarah is truly what you'd call the perfect child, someone who has everything many people dream of. She had a scholarship to study abroad at a top university, graduated early with honors, and now works at a prestigious company. Everything she has is something many aspire to. We were on a call, and she asked me, "Hey, Thuan, what keeps you alive?" I froze for a few seconds. Before, another friend, Kevin, had asked me a similar question, "What makes you choose not to give up on life?" So, hearing Sarah ask this, I paused and knew immediately she was sending a cry for help. I told her, "Lately, I've been on summer break back home. My life's been pretty chill and relaxed here with my family. If you have anything you want to talk about, you can tell me. You don't have to worry about affecting me or anything, because I'm just at home these days." After I said that, we fell silent for several minutes until she finally told me she was struggling with her mental health. She had always dreamed of her current life, but now she felt incredibly empty and had for a long time. During university, to maintain her scholarship, she constantly had to keep high grades, studying relentlessly. On top of that, she worked part-time to cover living expenses, and the life of an international student is incredibly lonely. She told me there were times she'd come home exhausted from work and still have to study until 1 or 2 a.m., feeling so lonely with no one to confide in. She felt terribly sad, wanting to cry, but in those moments she wouldn't allow herself. She felt, "Why am I so weak? I don't have the right to cry because these are the choices I made." She continued like that for a long time until she went to the university's psychological clinic and discovered she had mental health issues. Many universities abroad offer free psychological counseling for students, and that's where my friend learned about her condition. Listening to her, all I could do was nod and look into the camera. I couldn't give her advice on how to overcome it, because those things had already been told to her by mental health professionals. And empty phrases like, "don't be sad, be happy," or "everything will be okay," are the things I hate saying the most. I just watched her through the camera. Then she told me, sometimes I want to completely disappear, but I also want someone to find me to make me feel seen, heard, and understood. I want someone to understand what I've been through, then hold me, pat my head, and tell me I've done well. She always tried to hide all her difficulties and instabilities, but she also hoped someone would know her stories. Then she told me, actually, being depressed doesn't mean you cut ties with all relationships. It's more like sitting on a small wooden boat, and the boat just keeps drifting further from shore. You can only sit on the boat and watch the current pull you further and further away. You just sit there in that wooden boat, adrift in a gray, murky water, watching yourself drift away. You don't dare to jump into the water, but you also don't know how to get back to shore. You just hope someone sees you and rescues you, or that somehow, the wind blows, or the water carries the boat back to shore. Hearing that, my heart tightened. I couldn't understand why my friends had to go through such difficult things. At the end of that conversation, Sarah told me, "Thank you for making me feel found. Knowing there's someone on the other side who sees me also gave me back some hope. Thank you so much." That was a conversation where, even though I felt like I didn't really do anything, I found it incredibly meaningful. Every day, I receive so many messages from younger listeners saying, "Sister, I failed university. I don't know what to do. I feel like the sky is falling." If you asked me now if failing university is scary, it's certainly upsetting, but it doesn't feel utterly catastrophic. But if I were transported back to my 18-year-old self, I would completely understand why those young people feel like the sky is falling. I'm not sure what it's like in big cities, but I grew up in a small town. Most people living there are northerners who faced economic hardship and moved south for work. Only a few are civil servants, the rest are farmers. And these farmers, because their families were too poor in the past to pursue higher education, tried their utmost to ensure their firstborn children received a full education. They also taught their kids that only through education could they truly change their lives. Because for my parents' generation, those born in the 60s and 70s, it's true that if you passed university entrance exams back then, you'd likely get a stable, good job after graduating. Few people had money or could pursue education to university level then. I grew up in a society where everyone taught their children that if they wanted to change their lives, they absolutely had to study diligently. I grew up in such a society, so when I was little, I also placed immense importance on studying. I felt like my first 18 years were only preparation for one single exam, the university entrance exam, and if I failed that exam, my life would be a complete failure. It was as if I had trained for 18 years for a battle, but then lost it. That's how the society I lived in for my first 18 years educated me. So now, I completely understand the feeling of those young people who message me, saying they failed university and feel like the sky is falling. Allow me, from this point forward, to refer to myself as your sister. Your sister understands this feeling better than anyone. Even now, 4 years after my own university entrance exam, I've started working. To be honest, it's not like I'm a seasoned veteran or know all the rules of life. I'm just talking to you all like a peer. I've worked at several companies, and some of my bosses, for example, only attended college, and some even didn't go to university at all, yet they have incredibly admirable careers. Education isn't solely confined to university. If you have enough determination, you can earn external certifications. The most important things are still yourself, your effort, and the environment you interact with. I even have a friend from high school who was on the National Academic Excellence team. But suddenly, she didn't take the university entrance exam, didn't graduate high school, and chose to travel. Her family wasn't well off either. She always traveled with grants from non-governmental organizations, studying with financial aid. She kept learning and working odd jobs until she was 21, when she discovered a strong passion for a particular field. Then, she started applying to a university in the US, which has a partnership with an international university in Vietnam. She's currently studying at that international university. I'm telling you all this not to say that university isn't important. University is, without a doubt, extremely important. But if, unfortunately, you don't achieve what you hoped for, it doesn't mean your life is over or that you've failed completely. You've only failed at this moment in July 2023. After that, life continues. As long as you are the master of your own life, there's never just one single good option. When one door closes, another will open. The important thing is to seize the opportunity. Before, I watched a super inspiring video where the speaker said that living positively isn't about always feeling happy and joyful with life, but rather, it's when a major event or challenge happens in your life, you understand that everything happens for a reason, and you calmly accept that challenge. When difficulties arise, you realize, oh, this is what life wants to teach me. This is what I need to learn. And just recently, when I visited my grandmother, I met a friend from her senior club. I should have called him grandfather, but he asked me to call him uncle, so I'll refer to him as uncle. He told me, actually, at your age, my children, the more you stumble, the luckier you should feel. Because you are still very young with a lot of energy and time. Where you make mistakes, you can fix them. Perhaps now you don't feel how helpful these lessons will be, but when you reach my age, you'll feel grateful for all the failures you experienced in your youth. He said, when you feel like you're about to collapse, you must gather your strength, see an opportunity, and seize it immediately. Those who overcome difficulties do so because they want to overcome them, not because they feel sorry for themselves or sit thinking, why is life treating me this way? Whenever life gets tough, you must be even more alert to seize any opportunity that comes your way. In truth, things don't always happen exactly as we plan or wish. Sometimes life has random deviations. If life always unfolded according to our thoughts, then there would be no such thing as risk management. There will be times when we make mistakes, but that's okay because everyone makes mistakes. Learn to forgive yourself. The past cannot be undone, so let's stop tormenting ourselves. For better or worse, what is past has made us who we are today. We must live in the present, not in the future of the past. Follow the flow of time instead of being stuck at one point. Finally, I'll borrow a line from this year's graduation exam. Everyone has their own storm to weather. Life can be very difficult at times, and I hope everyone will be truly strong and not let life defeat them. This podcast episode ends here. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.